All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Ebony again, aka Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style, and today we have Miss Morgan with us. How are you, Morgan?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. You guys, this is a weekend for us, and she's taking time to share some jewels and I think some information that a lot of ladies, particularly career ladies, want to hear. If you stick around to the end, you'll have a complimentary gift that's offered to you. So I encourage you to stick around and see what Morgan wants to share with us today.
Thank
So,
you.
Morgan, let's get to know you a little bit better. Start us off by sharing a motivational quote, something that really inspires you or encourages you.
All right, so it says, she quietly expected great things to happen to her, and no doubt that's one of the reasons why they did. And this is by Zelda Fitzgerald. So this is my favorite quote. I live by it. This has been my motivation and inspiration, especially over the last couple of months. So this has kind of been my go-to. So I'm hoping that people can relate to that and just know that you have to expect great things from yourself in order to get to where you're trying to get to.
Say that last part again. You have to expect great things. You were dipping out a little bit.
Okay, expect great things in order to get to where you want to get to. So you have to,
Okay, yes,
yeah.
yes. And yeah, I think that if you have that mindset of something great and awesome is going to happen, most likely you'll at least get halfway there because you're keeping that positive energy, that positive momentum going. I think that once you say to yourself, "This isn't going to work. This is doomed for failure." Well, you're more likely not to take the action steps toward it because you already said to yourself, "This is not going to work."
Very true. Very
I,
true.
I love that. I think we can all relate to that. Can you talk a little bit about times when you didn't necessarily see the light at the end of the tunnel and you had to overcome some obstacles and maybe you didn't expect great things to happen, but at the end of the day you were able to see that goal or that dream to fruition?
Sure. So the first thing that came to mind, my previous job was very toxic. I was not happy being in this situation. I worked in this situation for about 2 years, and it took me some time to realize that I could be whatever I wanted to be and that I could take that next step forward. I think sometimes, especially being a recent-ish college grad, I think that sometimes we can feel discouraged when we're looking up new jobs and seeing that you need 5 to 10 years of experience, but you're just getting out of school. So sometimes it's hard to find what you want to do and making that next step. So for me, I was a teacher. So I was very worried that I wouldn't be able to take my skills as a teacher and translate it into a new position. And I noticed that over those 2 years, as I was still working in that toxic environment, I noticed that I was thinking to myself, well, it's no point in me applying for jobs that are outside of teaching because I don't have the necessary skills, or maybe the employer won't be able to see that my skills can be translated into something else. So little did I realize I was being hard on myself. I think sometimes, you think about society and you think about what other people say. And sometimes I had some people saying, well, you have your degree in education, you should stick with that. This is what you did. You should really work towards that. But even some of the things I was thinking about myself and saying, well, this is all I know. Maybe this is what I just have to do. So I decided, I think I had like an epiphany about it one day. And I just felt, you know what? I need to change the way that I'm thinking. I know that I have these amazing skills that can be used in different environments and different career wise. And I need to be able to step out and do what I'm dreaming of. So, something that I've been wanting to get into is early childhood policy, education policy. So, with that, I felt, okay, well, how can I take that first leap? What do I need to do? I needed to take a leap of faith. I needed to just step out and believe that I can do it. So for me, that was very scary, just the fear of the unknown. And I found that amazing quote that I just shared. And I also found a Bible verse that's very similar to that. And it's Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So if you believe that you can do it, if you have this positive outlook on your life, you need to speak life over yourself. So I began speaking life over my situation. And I began saying, you know what, Morgan, you can apply for that job. I felt like I was getting in my own way sometimes. Just go ahead, take the leap, apply for it, and see what happens. So I gathered the courage to quit my job and apply for new positions. And thankfully, I was able to start a new position just a month after quitting my job. So for me, I think that just speaking positive over your life is so important. And that helped me so much. It really started within myself. You know, a lot of times when people are going through rough times, the first thing they think of is, who can I talk to first? Who can help me with it? Sometimes you have to start with yourself in order to make those changes.
Yeah. And I think that for a lot of us, we are uncomfortable with not knowing what is going to happen. But then when you really, really think about it, it's like, would you really want to know exactly how your life is going to pan out? Because if you were to know exactly what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, 10 years from now, how you're going to be 30 years from now, it would leave out that element of adventure and you feeling like you have some control over your life, right? So I think that sometimes we need to just take a step back and say, this is how it is. This is the goal that I would love for my life. And this is the best way to make sure that I'm closer to reaching that goal rather than further away from reaching that goal. And then whatever happens in the process, it just happens. You know, I think about how, you know, there were certain things that I made a decision about, and it didn't even pan out any way that I planned for it to pan out. You know, totally went a total different direction. So I think that sometimes just letting life be and embracing the uncertainty is okay. And
Definitely.
in the end, your life is not going to be over, right?
Right, exactly. And I agree with that. And especially, you know, I'm a person that likes to plan things out. I try to plan things out as much as possible. So trying to plan out my career goals and my plans, and it just didn't go the way that I planned it out, but it's fine. Everything turned out to be okay. Like you said, it's not the end of the world. You know, things are going to work out. And you know, I guess I felt really overwhelmed trying to look for a new position. I just recently got married, so I was in the process of planning my wedding. And then once again, just kind of hearing from society, well, is this the right time to quit your job? You're about to get married. I'm going to assume that that means you're starting a family soon. You should job. Like, this is, you need to stay in this stable position. It's safe. You need to keep it because your family's about to start. You're about to get married. And at first, I was listening to what people would say, and then I thought, wait a minute, this is my life. So I need to decide what makes me happy. And yeah, you know, I did get married and I still want to have kids. But at the same time, I deserve to be happy in my career as well. You know, how
Yeah,
can I teach someone else happiness if I don't know it myself, if I'm not genuinely feeling it myself? So for me,
right.
it was important to take that leap of faith and just believe, you got this, girl, you can do this. So just constantly giving myself motivation was really helpful. And I feel like I have a totally different outlook on my life. And it was just a span of maybe 3 to 4 months where I kind of had this epiphany about changing the way that I think and just speaking life over situations, because it really makes a difference. If you, you know, you're applying for a job, and as you're applying for it, you're saying, oh, I'm not going to get this job. I don't have the experience. I'm not going to do this. That's what's going to happen. You're not going to get the job. They're going to say you don't have the experience. You have to speak life over your situations. And
Yeah.
once you start doing that, amazing things will happen and doors will open. So that's definitely been my motto lately.
Yeah. And I think that the more that you speak life over your situation and the more fruit you see from it, the more you believe it, the more you believe that things can happen for you. So it goes back to that initial quote that you made in the beginning. And I think that for a lot of people, it's one of those things, well, I've been burned before, or I expected something to go this way and then it happened this way and it left me devastated. But if they're still living today and they're okay today, then they're strong enough to get through anything, right? Something that they thought was devastating. They're still living, they're still standing today. And I think that sometimes just being grateful for just being alive is sufficient, you know?
It's true. It's very true. And I think too, just realizing that some of the opportunities you get are baby steps towards your goals, towards your dreams. You have to realize that,
Yeah,
sometimes you're not just going to get that instant gratification where you're CEO of a company and, that's just not going to happen right off the bat. You have to work towards it. And
right.
that is something else I had to come to terms with, as I'm applying for new positions. You have to start at the entry level. You have to start from the beginning and you have to make your way and work your way up. And
Right.
just to see, like you said, the fruit that you can get from that is amazing. But you don't hinder yourself from opportunities because you're looking at it like, well, this is just a small step. This is not taking me to where I need to go. You need to take that first step to get to where you want to go.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. And really, it's all accumulation of baby steps. Everything we do is an accumulation of baby steps. you know, every now and then you'll see those people that it's like, wow, that was an overnight success. But a lot of times, even for those people, it's not necessarily an overnight success. Maybe they just put in a tremendous amount of work in a short period of time. So it seems like it happened so fast, but that's because they just put a tremendous amount of work in. So, you don't always see the behind the scenes of how something was able to occur.
Mhm.
Talk a little bit about how people can gain support when they, say, for instance, they know what their next steps are or what their purpose or vision is, but they don't feel like they have a lot of surrounding support from family or friends or whomever that can help propel them even quicker forward.
So I love being in this age of technology and social media because now you do have access to so many different types of support. Even if you're not getting it from your family and friends, from the people that are close to you, now there are so many outlets for this. There are so many different types of blogs. Check out Ebonie's blog because she has all that you need for health and transitioning and just trying to be better. So there's so many different types of outlets for this. There's so many different types of people you can reach out to. Sometimes, I have a couple of friends that actually started going to therapy. And it's funny because I remember growing up and feeling like you hear the word therapy, you hear, oh, something must be wrong with you. But that's not the case. People can go to therapy and just help kind of transition and translate your thoughts and dreams. Sometimes people don't know how to translate that. Sometimes people don't have that support. You can gain support from therapists. You can gain support from bloggers. Something else that I like to do, I'm a big reader. I love to read. So I love reading motivational books. I'm listening to podcasts, anything like that. So one book that I would highly recommend, it's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And that book, oh my God, so many amazing gems in that book. So even if you feel like you don't have that support, because I kind of felt that way. I had support from some friends and family, but others that I would talk to, especially with me getting married so soon in the middle of me trying to transition to a new position, I had so many people saying, like I said earlier, okay, you might want to wait to do this. You're about to get married, XYZ. So not really having that full support. Reading helped me a lot. It was so many gems in that book, so many quotes that I live by to today. And if you're spiritual, you can read the Bible. I know, for an example, I have like the Bible app on my phone. They have reading plans for you. You can do like 3 or 5 day reading plans. There are so many different outlets. That's why I said I love this age of social media, and just having access to all of this different types of technology, because now sometimes you don't have to just go to that family or friend, even if you feel like they're not genuinely supporting you.
Right.
You can reach out to so many different types of people.
Yes. And I love that book as well. And I think that most people will get a lot of value from it. And one of the things is key that you said, and that's that a lot of times family and friends, even when they do support you, they're rushing you to do certain things. And you're like, hold up, I'm not even there yet. And you can rush me all you want, but you're really just wasting your breath because I'm not there yet. I'm over here. Why are you talking about over here and I'm over here? It's like, so I think that you know, people just like taking a step back and just focus on your own, focus on your own life right now and what steps you should be taking right now, and let me just do my thing. I think that we can sometimes get caught up in taking other people's advice and applying it to our life, but it doesn't necessarily feel right to us. So when they are supportive, there's a really fine line between how much support and advice you can take from those people to make sure that you're really living true and authentic to what you really want and what your heart is really asking for.
I think that's very true. And it's so important that you bring that up, that, you can still take the advice that people give you. You can take their words and apply it to your life, but make sure you make some changes to that. You make some edits to that so that it fits right for you. Because,
Right.
like I said, for an example, I had people telling me, no, stay with your job. You're going to have kids soon, so you need to stay with your job. And for a second, I was thinking, like, oh my God, they're right. Oh my God, what am I doing? And then I'm thinking, wait a minute. I didn't even say that. They said that.
Yeah.
To be able to take that and just change it for you. So, for an example, I do want to have a family. So, for me, my thing was, well, since I do want to have a family, I want to be in a position where I feel a lot happier, where I feel like, even though you're spending just 40 hours at work, that's still 40 hours that you're spending. And you deserve to be happy in that. So, like I said earlier, how can I teach someone else happiness and to shoot for the stars and do what you feel like you're meant to do if I'm not doing that myself? So you
Right.
take the advice of others, but make sure you change it and you shift it and you make it to where so it fits exactly for you.
Right.
And that's why I said I think reading helps too, because you kind of get an unbiased outlook. So I think that that's really good too. When I read The Power of Now, I was able to apply it to different situations in my life and, kind of break it down and figure out what my next steps needed to be. So sometimes I think reading and listening to podcasts, it kind of gives you like a neutral outlook, and then it can help you figure out what you need to do next for your own life.
Right. Right. Yeah, and I think one of the things from reading The Power of Now is that you'll also take more of a deeper look at how you're spending your time in terms of busyness and just not being aware of what's going on around you and how you're even treating your body sometimes. So sometimes people will ask me, so how can I go toward my vision or my goal or my dream when I really don't have a lot of time in the day and this one is pulling me in this direction. And even when I do have my downtime, the only thing I might want to do is maybe watch TV. So they don't have a whole lot of energy to really carry out whatever it is that they set for themselves. And one of the things that I always stress is self-care. And self-care can look different to everybody. But one way of showing self-care is to spend at least 15 minutes a day just doing something that brings you a sense of fulfillment and meaning. So that could look like taking a walk. It could be that you go exercise at the gym. It could mean that you paint a beautiful picture. It could mean that you cook a meal because you love to cook or bake. It could be anything, be coloring a coloring book, whatever it means to you, getting your nails done. It doesn't matter. Self-care is self-care. But just finding 15 minutes a day, take time to yourself so that you have that sense of fulfillment for at least a little bit of your day. I think that's so important. And I found that when people do it on a consistent basis, they end up spending even more time taking care of themselves. And what that does is it allows them to feel better about life so that they have that inner energy to say, okay, I feel much better, generally speaking. And now I have the energy to put forth the effort to accomplish my goal or my dream. So, can you talk a little bit about the relationship between self care and you being able to realize your dreams, and maybe even talk about yourself, some techniques or things that you do that make you feel good?
Sure, definitely. So I have self-care Sundays. That is my dedicated day where I am taking care of myself. And I am a big advocate for self-care. I now have family members doing self-care Sundays. So it is very important that you take some time to yourself. Like I said earlier, you need to be your best friend. You need
Yeah,
to be your biggest cheerleader. In order to do that, you need to take care of yourself and your body. So for me, for self care, I love to just spend the day washing my hair, deep conditioning, lighting some candles, putting on some music, and just having that me time. I try to create like a very cozy, warm environment, something where I can just relax, um, kind of like making my own in-home spa in a way.
right.
So just really taking that time to kind of pamper myself. Like I said, I love reading, so I take the time out to read. I make sure that on Sundays, if I can help it, if I don't have any other plans, I try to make sure that I don't have any time constraints, because something from The Power of Now, something that he mentions is time. You know,
Yeah,
time is something that can get people so caught up on things, and you feel like, okay, I only have 2 hours. Let me try to hurry up and spend a little time doing self care. Let me maybe try this new face mask, and let me do a little bit of exercise. But then I have to move on. You're not even truly getting that time to relax because you're too busy worried about time. So I try to make sure that I am not thinking about time. I don't take my phone with me. I leave it maybe in the room. I try to stay away from all clocks. I won't look at them. I want to be able to just have that time to just have that peace and meditate and relax. So for me, it's really important that I don't look at time, because I'm somebody that likes to follow, okay, I know this is supposed to take 30 minutes. Let me keep watch on the clock. And then you start to feel anxious about that. So then it takes away from the whole self-care thing.
right.
Um, so for me, that's really important. Also, I love cooking. I absolutely love cooking. So I try to find, a really good recipe, something new that I can try. And I just take that leap of faith and try something new. So for me, the biggest thing is also just taking that fear of the unknown. And lately, what I've been trying to do is the things that I feel I have the most challenge with, I'm trying to apply it into my self-care Sundays day. So with me, I know the fear of the unknown is a thing for me. So, you know what? On Sundays, let's remove all phones, let's remove the clocks, let's remove everything. And let's just see what happens with the day and just go with the flow of how things
Yeah,
should. So I think that that's really important. And, like you said, self-care can look different for everybody. Some people exercise. Some people just spend the day cooking. I like to do a little bit of both. I like to cook a little bit, maybe spend some time being active, but really I love having that time just to like wash my hair and relax, put on a nice cozy robe. So for me, that's what self-care looks like. And at first it started out just being kind of like a Sunday night ritual for me. Now I just take the whole Sunday. I say, you know what? No, I need the whole day for self-care. So that's definitely something that I think all people should do. You should be your own best friend, and you need to just take care of yourself. So many people, you think about whoever your best friend is, think about how much you care about that person and how you would do anything for that person. You need to have that same outlook for yourself as well.
right. Yeah, and that's true. The same type of love that you would have for your family member or your best friend. You're right. You should treat yourself in that same exact way and tell yourself some of the same advice that you would give to that person. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So I would love it if any of you out there that just listened to Morgan would get in contact with me and share your experiences as well. Because as you see, there's so many different approaches to how you can live a life that's meaningful and fulfilling. And for some of you listening, you might feel like you resonated with some of what Morgan said. And if you did, I encourage you to share this content out to your family and friends as well, because there might be some other things that she said that they actually can grasp on that moves them from their stuck position to where they want to be transformed into being. So if any of you want to share your experiences or share your challenges or successes, reach out to me. All of my contact info is in the description box, and I welcome all inquiries. And Morgan as well, she is open to anyone that wants to collaborate with her. If you have any great ideas that maybe she can provide some insight or tips on self-care to your community. It sounds like she's a powerhouse when it comes to self-care. So any and everything that you guys want to collaborate on, we're welcome to hearing about it and you sharing your story with women all around the world as well. Before we close out, don't forget that I also said that for those of you that listen to the end, you'll have an opportunity to earn a complimentary gift. I've included my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group in the description box as well. That link is there. And once you join, you'll have an opportunity to get a complimentary assessment on helping you to focus in on your true personality type as well as your gifts and how you can utilize those gifts to be able to serve the world. I'm very, very big on people living their core life purpose and not spending way too much time in a situation that they really don't have any desire to finish off in. So Morgan, before we close, do you have anything else that you want to encourage these ladies for, and anything that you feel like you just haven't had a real opportunity to put out there into the world, and this is your time to shine and do so?
Alrighty, well, I just want to say once again, speak life over your situations. Even if you feel stuck and you feel like, you know what, Morgan, you know what, Ebonie, I feel you, I hear you, but I've been in the same situation for 5 years or so. Start speaking life over your situations and just wait to see how many doors will open up. If you start having a positive outlook on what's to come and what your dreams and goals are, you can do it. You can do it. So just keep that in mind, and keep in mind that you have to be your biggest cheerleader. You can have so much support around you. You can have everyone telling you, you can do it. Just follow your dreams, follow your goals. You can do it. But it doesn't mean anything if you don't believe it yourself. So you
Right.
have to really and truly just believe that you can do it and speak it from the heart. Be genuine, just like you would do with a family member or a friend. Speak that way to yourself as well. So speak life over anything that you want to happen, and it shall happen, even if it is taking those baby steps like we talked about earlier. So keep that in mind, and I wish everyone nothing but the best. You can do it. Stay true to who you are and speak life over everything.
Thank you. So if you didn't hear anything else, it's a speak life over your situation. Thank you so much, Morgan. I really do appreciate your time. And for those of you that are listening, again, share this out because she said such awesome things that we can all relate to and be able to help us on our journey to our best selves. So I really do appreciate you. And until next time, don't forget, you guys, to live a life full of meaning and purpose. I'll talk to you in our next episode.
Thanks, Ebonie.
You're welcome.